Thank you all for coming today. We will be getting started in another 2 minutes. We are waiting for one of our speakers will be arriving, so we will start shortly. Thank you for being here. Good morning. Welcome today. My name is Shanta John. I lead communications for Cybastion. We are so thrilled to invite our speakers here today to really herald an exciting announcement. We are very thrilled because we know that the digital economy in Africa is a game changer. There are tremendous opportunities. And today we will now have a formal announcement of the first ever EXIM $100 million financing guarantee in Africa's digital infrastructure as well as digital economy. And we're thrilled today to have representatives, high-level representatives from the Ivorian government, because this first ever financing guarantee is in Côte d'Ivoire. The $100 million infrastructure and digitization will help to expand connectivity. It will help to train young people so they will have access to the internet, as well as move countries towards digital sovereignty. This, again, is a game changer for the continent. We see Côte d'Ivoire as one of our regional leaders. Cybastion has one of our largest infrastructure projects in the country, and we're looking forward to hearing more from both the government of Côte d'Ivoire, our U.S. representatives, and the private sector. This is a public-private partnership that is transformative, and we see this as a model for future public-private partnerships on the continent. We also want to extend a thanks to Citi for also being here. Citi made the strong commitment to invest in Côte d'Ivoire. And again, this is an opportunity to invest in the digital economy on the continent. So I'd like to now invite our president, Dr. Terry Wanji, to come up and offer some remarks. As I mentioned earlier, Cybastion is it's a U.S. tech company that delivers digital infrastructure and digital solutions on the continent. We are proud of all of the work and the vision of our CEO and our team, and so I would like to now extend an offer to Dr. Wanji to come up and make some remarks, please.
Good morning, everybody. It's my distinguished honor to introduce the wonderful table that we have here, especially the State Minister from Côte d'Ivoire, the Senior Minister from Côte d'Ivoire, the Special Counselor of the President, and the Head of the Delegation of the Côte d'Ivoire government, Mr. Patrick Achi. It's really an honor for us to have him here. You know, when we started this project, he was Prime Minister about 3 years ago, and he really pushed us. He really stood behind us to make sure that Côte d'Ivoire can have a strong private sector. And we are really honored to have him here as a full circle. We also have Minister Kabaniale, which is the Minister of Plan of Côte d'Ivoire. She has been the Minister of Finance before. Very strong person within the Côte d'Ivoire government with all the achievements that they have done over the last 5 years. It's a real honor to have them here sitting today with us to celebrate this achievement that we have done with Citibank and US EXIM. I would like to recognize Jim Burrows from EXIM, who worked with us since the beginning of this project. He's the first vice president of EXIM Bank, worked with us over 2 years to push this through to make sure that we could have it today, that EXIM guarantee. Thank you so much, Jim. We have Das Steven, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for West Africa, and he has been working since January with us to make sure that we could get this project through, sitting down with us with countless meetings, and thank you, Das Steven. It's a real honor. And we have a friend from Cisco. She is an executive senior vice president of Cisco responsible for Africa. She came to Côte d'Ivoire last year for the first time ever to launch several programs to train 500,000, 15,000 per year. 15,000 per year, thank you. 15,000 women per year. And, you know, with a team, it was amazing. We spent 2 days. We signed contract with the Minister of Women, you know, to make sure that the women can have access to digital economy. And thank you so much, friend, for, you know, taking a leap of faith to come to Côte d'Ivoire. And we saw what we have been able to do together. And we also have a Citibank Vice President for Government Affairs sitting here with us today representing the team that we have here, because Citibank has been working since the beginning, not just in Côte d'Ivoire, but in many other countries. But the biggest of all is Côte d'Ivoire, and we would like to thank Citibank for everything that you have done. So my name is Dr. Thierry Wonji. I'm the CEO of Cybastion, an American company that delivers world-class digital infrastructure solution to accelerate digital sovereignty in Africa. We are extremely happy and excited here today because this is the first time when we started, many people said, like, why are you losing your time? It's not going to work. The United States will never back up such a project. But yes, because of persistence, resilience, we were able to get it through. And I also would like to recognize the ambassador of Côte d'Ivoire in the United States, Ambassador Touré, who has been working with us, calling us many times to make sure that this country can get this first project, you know, financed, because it's going to open the door. In Africa, whatever Côte d'Ivoire does, everybody else follow. You know, everything else came after that alongside the country, but many other countries duplicate what we have done in Côte d'Ivoire because they saw the potential and they saw what we could do. And Côte d'Ivoire is a real leader, and we are extremely lucky to have, you know, such a high delegation from Côte d'Ivoire here to support and to thank also the U.S. government. But this has been a partnership between the U.S. government and the Côte d'Ivoire government, especially with this new approach, which is investment. And Côte d'Ivoire has been embracing that new approach of investing to lift up the private sector, and that's exactly what Senior Minister Patrick Ashi has been saying. We need to have a strong private sector if we want to be able to move forward. The public sector alone cannot do it. And this project, with the support of EXIM, is a win-win for both countries. The United States can sell the product, we can train the Ivorian, we can give them access to a new life by working on the digital economy, because it's transformational. You can have it in agriculture, health, you name it. Digital economy already touch on every single sector, and we believe Côte d'Ivoire for the next 5 years going to have a tremendous acceleration in the GDP because of the private sector investment that we are making today. So again, thank you. I won't be too long. I want to be cognizant of the time because I know people have a lot to do today. So Chantal, see if you can give us a round of show for today. And we're going to have every speaker, you know, talking, and we will take a beautiful picture. Thank you to all of you guys.
We will first invite the representatives from the government of Côte d'Ivoire to offer remarks, please.
dear official from the U.S. government, dear head of our friend from Cybastion, dear friend from EXIM Bank, from all the American private sector companies here, Cisco, and some of them that I cannot mention because I don't know they're here. We're really, really, really happy to be here today, and I really made my time to be able to attend this event. As you just mentioned, it's not only Côte d'Ivoire, but the whole African continent is going to face major challenges in the coming years. By 2050, as most of you know, the continent will represent 1/4 of the world population, 2.4 billion inhabitants, and 60% of this population age under 25 will have to be inserted in the working environment. And how we will be able to do that if we're not able to give them the appropriate education. Now, when you look at the speed at which population is growing, our fiscal revenue, even with any kind of debt that we can have, we will not be able to match the need of infrastructure building and teachers that needed to make this knowledge. So digital infrastructure is the only way forward to give knowledge to this billion of people that we're going to have in the next 25 years to come. Second, someone was talking about it. On the continent, $100 billion is spent a year for food, whereas the continent has 60% of the world arable lands and yet cannot be self-sufficient food-wise. Normally, the whole continent could be a net exporter of food in the world, but the issue is productivity. And we think that the digital infrastructure is going to be a game changer on agriculture. We can see that already. I can move on and on how digital infrastructure, internet, AI is going to be a major issue on the world to come. And whoever cannot master that will not be part of the world that is being built. Africa has missed the Industrial Revolution, which Asia has been able to take advantage of. We cannot miss the digital era and revolution. So this is why President Alassane Ouattara has decided to put as much effort as he can to at least lay down the basic infrastructure for the private sector who will be interested to come in and invest. So this is where this major investment we're talking about comes in the picture. We're really, really happy that this is happening, and we just hope that it will just be the beginning of more investment that will attract other investors to see that Africa is a place that you can make major investment and have return on it, and that we could be the leading country on the change that the whole continent is going to see in the next coming decade. So thank you to have been invited here. We can tell you that we're all excited, waiting for you guys to come. You can be sure that the whole administration has been instructed to give you the best attention so that this project speeds up really fast and we can see results very soon for our kids, for our population, and for the whole continent. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to acknowledge the Minister Kaba Nyale, who is our Minister of Planning and Development and President of the Board of Governors for the Africa Development Bank. Welcome.
So you better open your eyes for all your guys with this speech. And if you don't, that's a huge opportunity to learn.
Merci beaucoup. He is right. My English is not fluent, but I want just to say I agree with what he says. We have a lot of MOU, convention with many American companies in Côte d'Ivoire. I think the challenge is find a way to make them effective. When we go back home, maybe we should work with your representative, with the embassy to say how to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to now invite Jim Burrows, who is the acting first vice president and vice chairman of EXIM Bank, the Export-Import Bank.
I'm sorry, before you take the floor, I really want to thank you. You know, I was a couple of years ago, I came and I make such a push with the new president who just, you know, got appointed. And, you know, after that, you open up an office in Abidjan, put up $500 million, you know, there to be used by the private sector. And every single day she kept calling me, you're not dispersing. So you cannot imagine how happy I am to see you today and be, you know, doing something from which I feel I've been part of that journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those remarks. I'm Jim Burrows. Again, I'm the acting vice chairman here at EXIM Bank. I'm a career employee at EXIM, but I had the honor with the Trump administration to be sitting in an acting role to make sure our board has a quorum so we can keep transactions moving. So thank you. It's been an honor to work on this transaction. Our whole underwriting team, we took this transaction to our board in August. 2 transactions, as mentioned, a total of a little over $100 million. We're looking forward to additional transactions. It's nice to be able to partner with Citibank on a guarantee, provide our guarantee on this, and we're looking forward to additional transactions on the continent. 2 mandates that are written into our charter by the U.S. Congress is to support American small businesses, which Cybastion is, and we're honored to be able to support hundreds of U.S. jobs here and also on the continent with this financing. We also have a mandate to combat the People's Republic of China in that mandate, and we're happy that this also allows U.S. trusted vendors to be able to play a part with our financing. And so we're very excited about this opportunity, and we look forward to additional opportunities to do financing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We'd now like to ask Will Stevens, who is Das Stevens, who's Deputy Assistant Director for West Africa, to say a few words from the U.S. State Department.
Thank you. It's wonderful to see this event today, and I would stand on all protocols, but I guess I'll sit on all protocols, which is something we do in Africa. But Côte d'Ivoire is one of the world's fastest growing economies. It's an economy where the U.S. has seen the potential and wants to partner. And this is exactly the type of transaction that we want to be seeing as part of our Africa commercial strategy, how we can do more business with Africa. It's building infrastructure that is clean, that will allow American companies and Western companies to come and create global networks based in Abidjan and Côte d'Ivoire. And not only is it building infrastructure, it's building people. And this is what American companies do. When an American company comes and invests, they build their people. And everywhere I've worked in Africa, the ministers, the governors, the presidents, they're almost all alumni of American companies and Western companies because we invest in the people that we work with and we build them up. So that's what this is about. And finally, it's having the U.S. government fill the gaps and be catalytic, which is exactly why we have the tools like EXIM, DFC, and MCC. And I think to highlight the incredible kind of bullishness that we have about Côte d'Ivoire, you saw the very first MCC compact signed by this administration, signed with Côte d'Ivoire just 2 weeks ago, for $322 million on a regional energy compact. We think that will also be catalytic to the region, and I think it shows our confidence in what's happening in Côte d'Ivoire and how we want to be a part of it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So Cybastion delivers our work through our partners as well. And so we are so thrilled to have today some of our part of our consortium of U.S. partners, Fran Casuto, who is with Cisco, the Executive Vice President, Chief People, Policy, and Purpose Officer. We're delighted that you're here today, and please offer remarks.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here today and to celebrate the landmark partnership that represents our shared vision for a secure and prosperous future in Africa. And I want to start by recognizing the critical role of the U.S. Export-Import Bank. EXIM's leadership and financing tools make projects like this possible. They open new doors for Cisco customers and partners while also helping U.S. businesses grow. Jim, I want to say thank you for the partnership and we look forward to additional areas of opportunity for all of us. I want to also acknowledge the leadership of the U.S. government. We're honored today to have the Honorable Will B. Stevens with us, underscoring America's commitment to supporting secure digital growth across the continent. It is good to see you in the U.S., Will. Thank you so much. As President Trump emphasized in his AI action plan, success in the AI era requires strong public-private partnerships, mobilizing our federal financing tools to ensure that the infrastructure and that companies are globally competitive, which is so very important. Cisco is proud to provide networking, security, collaboration technology to both the public and private sector organizations in Africa in collaboration with our partners. One of our strategic partners is Cybastion, and we're so proud to work hand in hand with you, Dr. Thierry, and your team. And we know that the work that we do together drives this digital infrastructure for the continent. We also know just how important it is that we build a secure foundation for the continent today. And we see so many opportunities where we can come together. You know, I did have the honor of spending time in Côte d'Ivoire in December of last year, and we focused on our business opportunities, but also the incredible opportunity around skilling. And what you saw here in the room is exactly what would happen. We would put out a number as far as our commitment to skilling, and then the local government would increase that number. And I think that's amazing. So we committed to training 200,000 Ivorians by 2030. We are far on that path. I think their push has made us exceed this number. Today, across Africa, we've already trained 1.5 million people. I'm a firm believer that Africa's youth is its most powerful resource, and as a company, we are just committed to doing everything that we can to drive both education and opportunity. And I think together we are all setting a new benchmark for digital transformation in Africa, and most importantly with skilling, one that is resilient for the continent as well. So I want to close by emphasizing how important this partnership is. I want to say that we are proud to create long-term digital growth that benefits all Ivorians, which also fosters new opportunities for U.S. businesses, and deepening this transatlantic cooperation. By combining our strengths, Cisco and Cybastion are working to protect African nations from cyber threats, promote economic development, and bridge the digital divide. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your trust. And we're excited for the chapters ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We now would like to invite Stephanie von Friedelberg, who's with Citi's Global Head of Public Sector Banking. We are thrilled that Citi is here with us, and with the big investment that you've made in Côte d'Ivoire's digital infrastructure. It starts with financing, and we would look forward to hearing more from you on Citi's commitment. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Citi has very deep and enduring relationships with both the country of Côte d'Ivoire and with the U.S. EXIM. Our presence in Abidjan dates back to 1975, and we have been a trusted partner to the government, facilitating numerous funding and transactional banking endeavors for the government since that time. Similarly, Citi has arranged more than 41 transactions with U.S. EXIM support, totaling more than $12 billion globally. So very strong partnership with U.S. EXIM. And we're particularly proud of our collaboration in Côte d'Ivoire's digital transformation. In 2025, the Citi team, sitting here, decided that we needed to focus strategically on opportunities within U.S. EXIM's China and Transformational Export Program. And we have found a very strong partner in Cybastion Technologies, especially when we look at digital infrastructure and cybersecurity sectors across all of West Africa. Just last month, U.S. EXIM, as many have noted, authorized $110 million financing in foreign currency guarantees to Citi for the CTEP program. This has enabled Citi to provide extended tenor and additional flexibility to the Ivorian Minister of Finance for two very significant EXIM-backed projects that we see as transformational. First, we are supporting the construction of the state-of-the-art National Data Center in Grand Bassam. This center will house all systems and data for public administrative entities. significantly enhancing the performance, the security, and the availability of government IT services. The streamlining of key state services will also serve to boost economic growth, a key factor for the Ivorian government. Second, we are facilitating the digitization of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which will modernize trade and industrial services, enhance ministerial management, strengthen local networks, and reinforce security in industrial zones. Looking ahead, we are engaged in discussions regarding the Google undersea cable project, further solidifying our commitment to developing Côte d'Ivoire's digital infrastructure and promoting U.S.-Ivorian trade relations. We are committed to strengthening our partnership both with the country of Côte d'Ivoire and U.S. EXIM, and I'm very pleased to have had the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wanted to acknowledge a few of our U.S. partners who are also here. We have Schneider Electric is also here, and Uptime Institute, and there are other partners that are here. Please wave if you are part of the Cybastion ecosystem. Several here. Thank you again for joining us. I'd like to now, we have several cameras and media that are here, but would like to open it up and see if there are any questions that we may have for our panelists today. So I'll start by maybe asking a question in terms of what significant impact do you see this investment making, and particularly these financing guarantees on Côte d'Ivoire and also on the continent? It's a broad question, but would love for you to speak from your particular sector.
Start? Sure, happy to. So what we know across the continent today is that 62% of people are not connected, which impacts their ability to get access to education, to healthcare, to work. And so one of the things that we know is that this project is the first step in how we drive that additional connection. We also know that there are so many opportunities from an AI perspective. Earlier we heard about the connection of AI and agriculture, and we know that these opportunities can lift countries. And so I view this as the first really positive step together in building this type of state-of-the-art data center that will create tremendous opportunities and really start us down the path from an AI perspective as well.
So maybe I'll just add a couple of things. I know that the minister referenced the young and growing population in Africa. By 2050, 40% of the world's working population will be in Africa. And in order for us to actually ensure that they're employable and helping to create economic growth, they need two things. They need health and education. And providing both health and education via digital solutions is the way forward for Africa. In many senses, the opportunity to leapfrog some of the industrial processes that were put in place to educate and to create healthcare in the developed world can happen with investments such as this. And I think the other piece that's super important for the Ivorian government is cybersecurity and ensuring that all the government's data is held safely and free from cyber attack.
Okay. Thank you. From the Ivorian government or the U.S. government, any additional remarks before we open up for further questions?
I see Fran put the mic in front of me. No, I think one of the great foundations of this project is it provides even more capability for the Ivorian government to become more digitized in how you approach your citizenry, which leads to more responsive government, which bolsters people's faith in democracy, which is a real challenge in West Africa and around the continent as you have responsive and accountable governments. And a digitized government is also more transparent, and it bolsters people's faith in the services that are being provided. So it's one of the things that maybe we don't talk about as often, but it's certainly important in this particular project.
Yes, I guess you guys know more about the needs than myself. I mean, it's really your business, I can see it. But definitely that's what I was talking about. I mean, when you're seeing just the growth of the population, we're talking about the population being an opportunity. But you have to know that a population that is not knowledgeable that is not is a threat, because this population cannot insert itself in the economic life. They grow the extreme poverty in the continent. Just to give you a couple of figures that we having some perspective here. In 1990, 10% of the world extreme poor were in Africa. In 2030, 60% of the world extreme poor is going to be in Africa. And in 1990, if things don't change, it's 90% of the world extreme poor that is going to be in Africa. Asia has been able to lift out of poverty 1 billion people in the past 40 years. And South America has done quite the same. So for many reasons, Africa has not been able to take advantage of this huge opportunity for natural resources, but also population. Now, as we're moving forward, we could see that AI is becoming another challenge, as well as demography. Population is going to double, as I said, and get to 2.5 billion. Where are these people going to work? How are they going to be trained, in order for them not to get into all this immigration, system going on, and as well as, not being a threat to democracy in the continent. Because when they don't work, it's a major threat, for each of the government, because, they're after the government to make their life, better. So as we see things moving in, not only in Europe, in the US, but in the global world, we all do know that AI will be a major change in the working environment. We don't even know, to which extent this change is going to happen. But what about we who already are struggling, to get people to work, knowing that this youth is going to double population, So I think that, as I said earlier, I don't think anything else that will really, really help us bridge the gap, but AI, internet, and if you don't have the digital infrastructure, any development, evolution, discovering, you'll not be able to use that. So today, the biggest challenge for the continent is not only the energy infrastructure that you need, because it's first step, but also the digital infrastructure to be able to take advantage of. We don't know where this AI is going to take us, but at least for the good, we need to be able to use the software part of it, to use the good of this new world coming up. Otherwise, it's just hopeless. So I think we're not talking about just a technology. We're just talking about the private sector. We're not talking just about the private sector investment. We're talking about a game changer for the whole continent. So here is just the first step of a huge need that is going to come. So we wish you to succeed in Côte d'Ivoire, for it to be really a trademark, for it to be really a pilot project that people will see as transformative for the rest of the continent. And we are going to do the best we can to make it a success, not only for us, but also for you guys, for the private sector. As I say, he was just mentioning it. We used to be in a situation where people think that the public sector is the one who is bringing growth. We all know, at least the people who've done a little of economics, that the state is just an enabler. The private sector is really the one that really drive growth sustainably, inclusively, and also create jobs. All these kids that are going, to be born, and I say the population is going to, where are going to work? They're not going to work for the public administration. 400,000 kids are getting out of school every single year in Côte d'Ivoire. The government can handle only 15,000 recruit only 50,000 of them. 385 has to be inserted in the private sector. Where is this private sector? How is the private sector going to come if you do not have the proper environment that will attract them? So the digital infrastructure we're talking about is really key. Talking about security, we're living in an environment where, as you know, we have threat everywhere, surrounding by countries which are being very hit by terrorism. We have to be very, strong on our security. And today, who can talk about security with AI, with internet? No way. So you need digital infrastructure to do that. You're talking about internal security. You're talking about video cameras. You're talking about all these control room that follow everything. You know, you need the digital infrastructure. The whole economic world now on microfinance, you know, all these little finance application on mobile phone in the rural area, you know, by the women has been inserted in every single place in the continent and in the world of business over there. How can you do it with digital infrastructure? So I think that beyond the financing, we're tackling here something which is really key for the world on Africa to come and for this continent to emerge. So thank you very much once again, and very good luck for you, but also for us. And I think that the better is to come, and that's why we really buy this really motto, a trade, not aid. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'd like to open it up for questions. Yes, and please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Might I say congratulations to your country, sir. You are definitely leading in the vision that we have for Africa. My name is Mxolisi Mgojo. I am the co-chair of the B20 South Africa, which is basically the team that is actually convening global CEOs around from the 20 countries, coming up with recommendations around key critical areas with which, coming from the various previous B20, G20s, came up with 8 areas of task forces, and including the private sector within Africa, business leaders in the co-chairs of these various task forces, and one of them was the task force on digital transformation. I must say that what I've heard you conveying here today talks to exactly the recommendations that we have come up as the B20 global leaders in terms of how we're seeing digital transformation going into the future.
Thank you.
And one of them, there's 4 of them, if I may just share with you, and I think they talk to you, and I would also want to see how we can learn from this, because critical for Africa is the Africa Free Trade Agreement, of which collectively as Africa, we have to align on a number of things as the continent to ensure that this free trade area becomes something that is going to be attainable.
Okay. Could we ask you to please ask a question, please, and perhaps afterwards we can make sure that you connect.
Okay. No, mine was actually not a question, but to reinforce a very critical recommendations that are going to the G20 presidents in this coming in November, which is also going to then be taken over by the United States from next year. So it's a very important aspect of what is happening here. So I will leave it that. We can talk after that, but I can say that there is others who want to say something, but I just wanted to say that we are very, very encouraged, because you definitely are looking at what we are looking for the rest of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Madam Ding.
Thank you very much. My name is Diaretou Madina, and I'm the president of the Francophone African region for Schneider Electric. Very proud to be here, and as you mentioned, thanks for mentioning it. We are part of the journey with Cybastion, and I want to take a minute just to thank you all. Of course, building a data center requires power and cooling, and this is where we intervene. My question to you, Mr. Prime Minister, beyond this big infrastructure, how do you see Côte d'Ivoire positioning as a regional hub? Because I know it is part of your ambition. What are the key actions that you plan to develop in order to make this vision a reality? Thank you.
Thank you very much. In a couple of weeks from now, we'll held the presidential election, which is the 25th of October. And we're about to start the debate on the program. So I thought I heard a question of someone, asking me through the campaign, what we're going to do in the next 5 years. Thank you very much. I mean, I'll be maybe a little bit awkward as far as the question is concerned. I really want to be sometimes a little bit provocative. And I was mentioning about Southeast Asia, a couple of minutes ago. And I think that what we're seeing right now is that as the world has been moving these past few years, the geopolitical fragmentation, the AI, the climate change, I mean, all this shock the world financial architecture, the debt issues, we can go on and go on, the demographic divide. All this is really changing and shaping the world in a way that we really have to think twice. And I think that for Africa, this is what we call a wake-up call. 60 years back, most of Asia and Latin America was way back exactly like Africa. GDP per capita not being more than $1,000 per person, per person. Now, here we are, China, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. I can go on and go on and go on. Even Vietnam, who just got out of war lately, have been able to leapfrog. Not to mention, Latin America. And we're asking ourselves, what's going wrong with the continent? Because the continent has the most natural resources and human being than any other place in the world. And we've realized that that has to do with governance, that has to do with leadership, and that has to do with really a clear vision. Other than that, everything is possible. The sky is the limit. So as far as Côte d'Ivoire is concerned, we think that first thing, peace and security and stability. Every single country that has been able to make it in the past 50 years has been able to be a peaceful and stable country. Because if you don't grow at 7 to 10% per year for 30 years, you won't make it. Second is really human capital. We have natural resources. You can have anything you want. If you don't have the right people and knowledgeable people to transform these resources and make it a wealth, then you won't make it. So human capital is the second area where we need to invest. The third is that when you have the resource and you have the people, if you don't have the infrastructure, we're talking about digital infrastructure, we can talk about power, we can talk about transport infrastructure. If you don't have the infrastructure, these bright people with natural resources will do nothing. Fourth, now, when you have that, then you have to tackle into industry because you have to manufacture goods that you can sell and export. That is going to generate revenue, generate currency, that will help you really develop, import, export, And we've not been part of the world as far as Africa is concerned, We are today, the continent is less than 3% of the world trade, and we're less than 3% of the world GDP. So major transformation, and Côte d'Ivoire will be with the first world producer of cocoa, the first world producer of cashew nut, the third world producer of rubber, the fourth world producer of cashew nut, cocoa, and coffee. I mean, all the major, raw material. But we don't transform enough. We're just selling, raw material. So we expose to any kind of change in the world commodity, market that will really give us a hard time. So transformation, manufacturing is really the next thing to do. And I'll finish with investing in good governance, transparency, credibility. That's he was just talking about. Whatever you do, if you just into huge corruption or administration inefficiency, then whatever things you do will not work. So this is the 5 key points that President Ouattara is going to implement in the next 5 years to come. And I think that will make a huge change and make Côte d'Ivoire one of the big dragon of the whole continent. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. We probably take 2 more questions. Are there others? Okay. So we will have Dr. Wanji come up for closing remarks, and we thank you all for coming today. Dr.
Wanji. So again, thank you to everybody for being here, and I would like to thank the Côte d'Ivoire government for the friendship, for the hospitality, and for also allowing us to be able to express ourselves and to show what we are capable of. And this would not be possible without the coalition of companies in Côte d'Ivoire. You know, we found very credible company in Côte d'Ivoire to help us out to implement those projects, and we are very proud of that partnership. Small, medium-sized company, big companies to help build the data centers and so on and so forth. So we have a strong partnership in Côte d'Ivoire, and I guess that has been the key of our success, tapping into the companies there, allowing them to grow by having that handshake with U.S. companies and bringing the goods from here. And I also want to thank the State Department, U.S. EXIM, Citibank, friend from Cisco, because this is our biggest partner. We do have a broad coalition of partners here, but Cisco is the biggest, and we work very well hand to hand, and very proud of that partnership. And we're going to make sure that we can, do bigger things as now that we cracked the code on the financing. So thank you everybody for being here, and we can take a picture. And thank you so much. Shanta, will it be better to do it down or here, up here? Is it going to be too tight with the chairs and everything?